So we know we've got 3 methods of investment appraisal that we need to learn about for our exam. This video we're going to take a look at the payback method. It's a method of investment appraisal where we calculate how long it takes for a project to pay back its initial cost. So we're going to try and calculate exactly how long in years a project takes to recoup its initial investment. Now, if the answer is exactly at the end of a year, it's dead easy to calculate. If we've got a project with an upfront cost of £10 million and it recoups us £5 million in the first year and £5 million in the second year, that's dead easy to calculate. The payback period is exactly 2 years. Where payback can be slightly more complicated to calculate is if the payback isn't exactly at the end of the year, if it's somewhere between the end of one year and the end of the next. So what we're going to do in this video is try and have a look at how we calculate the exact time of payback for an investment. Now, in exam questions, we're probably going to get questioned about investment appraisal, having been given a table with some very simple data in. So the table's probably going to look pretty similar to the one we've got up here. It's going to say the years that a project might run for in the first column, and then it's going to say the net return of that project that we're predicting if we invest in it. And remember, these are just predicted numbers. There's no guarantees that they will come true. It's all to do with the business's forecasts. But the net return is the difference between the revenue we think this project is going to earn the organisation and any costs that might need to be paid that are associated with this investment on an annual basis. One little tip for the exam, do some practice activities on this. Have a look at some specimen papers for your exam board, because we might not necessarily be given a column with the net return. We might have a column that tells us how much cash this project will make us each year, and then another column next to it what will say the maintenance cost or the cost of running this project each year, and we might even need to calculate that net return column ourselves. But if the examiner's being kind, we'll probably just see these 2 columns there, the years the project will run for and the net return, where the examiner has already calculated for you the difference between the revenue the project will make us each year and the ongoing yearly maintenance cost. Now, if we have a look at the numbers, we can see that this project has an initial cost. It's going to have an upfront expense of £10 million. So that's our big figure for payback. We're going to try and see how long this project takes to return £10 million. Now, the column that we're going to need to use is this net return column here. And what we're going to do is to try and count through these numbers to see how many years it's going to take us to earn this £10 million back. Now, we can see that by the time we get to the end of the first year, we've earned some of this £10 million back. We've forecasted that we'll actually have earned £3 million of it back. Clearly not enough to cover our initial 10 million, but we've chalked off some of the initial investment, and we'll keep a little ongoing total here. So right up front, we've still got the 10 million pounds to pay back, but by the end of this first year, we've earned 3 million pounds in net returns. So we've only got £7 million to pay back. We jump into the second year, the net return's slightly higher in this year. We've earned a net return of 4 million this time. So if we keep our cumulative total going, we still had £7 million to try and pay back at the end of year 1. We've made an extra £4 million net return in year 2. That still leaves us with £3 million left to pay back, left to return. Now, if we jump down into year 3, we can say, well, hold on a second, we've done it. We've actually paid back. Our forecast suggests that this project will have paid for itself by the end of that third year. We've still got £3 million that we're looking to try and pay back by the end of year 2, but we make more than that. We make £4 million during the third year. Now, that poses a little bit of a dilemma in terms of calculating the payback period, because it hasn't fallen exactly at the end of a year. If by the end of year 2 we were looking to still pay back £3 million, and in that third year we made exactly £3 million, then it would be dead easy to calculate. But this time we've got a little bit of a sum to do. We can see now that our project is going to pay for itself sometime after the end of year 2. By the end of year 2, we've got £3 million left to pay. We make £4 million net return during year 3, so it's sometime between the end of the second year and the end of the third year. Well, we need a little sum to calculate how long exactly into that third year this project takes to pay for itself. And the sum we use is dead simple. To calculate the exact payback period, we've already counted through 2 full years yet. So the answer is going to be 2 years and a proportion of the third year. Here's how we calculate that proportion. We take the £3 million that we still haven't paid back yet at the end of year 2. So you can see that after the end of year 2, we've still got £3 million that we're looking to recoup. And we divide that by the net return of the next year. So we're going to take our 3 million and we're going to divide it by the 4 million that this project is going to have as a net return during the next year. Now, if you just divide one by the other, so we take our 3 million and we divide it by the 4 million, the answer comes out on the calculator as 0.75. So this project is going to take 2 years plus 0.75 of the next year, or 3/4 of the next year. So it's going to take 2 years and 0.75 of year 3. So the answer is 2 years, 0.75. 2.75 years, 2 3/4 years. So rather than just be vague and say, well, looks like it pays for itself sometime after the end of year 2, we can actually put an exact time on it. This project takes 2.75 years to pay for itself. But if we want to, we could go a little stage further than that and actually calculate it in months or even weeks if we wanted to. If we take that 0.75 and we just multiply it by 12, it will work out the exact number of months this project takes to pay for itself. So we can say the answer is 2 years and 9 months. If we wanted to be even more precise, we can do it in weeks if we want. So we take our answer of 0.75, multiply it by 52 for the number of weeks in a year, and we can say this project takes 2 years and 39 weeks to pay for itself. So whichever method you use there, you can say it takes 2.75 years, you can say it takes 2 years, 9 months, you can say it takes 2 years and 39 weeks. We've worked out precisely how long this project has taken to pay for itself. Now, the other thing we want to just prepare ourselves for the exam is just in case we get asked a slightly longer, maybe analytical question about the value of the payback method and how useful it is. Well, the first thing that we can say about the payback method is it is a good method of investment appraisal for firms to use if they have been experiencing liquidity problems in the past, especially if a business is quite new or a smaller organisation. Investments are risky, and getting your money back out of that investment as quickly as possible can be important for those kind of organisations. So if we were choosing between 2 different potential investments, going with the one that earns its investment back the quickest could be useful for us, because as soon as it's earned that investment back, it starts generating profit for us, and for new organisations they need to start making profits quite quickly. But it also means that as soon as it's paid for itself, our cash is not tied up in that scheme any longer, so it means that we can then perhaps think about other investments that we might try and make. So it's very good for organisations that are liquidity sensitive and want to get their cash back out of investments as quickly as they possibly can. If we have a look at the limitations of it, well, the limitations are actually staring us in the face on the board here. We counted through 2 full years to calculate the payback for this bad boy, and we saw that we factored in the fact that it made £4 million during that third year, and it formed part of our equation to calculate exactly what proportion of the next year this project took to pay for itself. But have a look at year 4. The most lucrative year in this project that we've got behind us on the board here is year 4. The final year of this project's life cycle is the one that has the greatest net return, and the payback period, because we'd paid for itself before that 4th year, doesn't even take account of that. So the organisation, maybe if it was balancing up 2 different investments and this one didn't have the quickest payback time, we're sacrificing the fact that this project has got a very lucrative 4th year because we're prioritising how quickly we can get our investment back out of our projects again. So one big criticism of the payback period is that it doesn't take account of the net returns throughout the full life of the project, and if we have any of the later years that are quite lucrative for a project, they get sidelined, they get ignored. So that's one of the weaknesses of the payback method of investment appraisal, which is why we have our other methods of investment appraisal, which we'll pop links to up in the top corner there, so you can learn about all three methods of investment appraisal in one tasty binge watch. Hopefully that explains that method for you. Good luck with your revision. We'll see you soon for some more investment appraisal.